Truth Career Stories. The $3 million Heist. How I Played Dead to Catch My Daughter-in-Law Red-Handed. My name is Margaret Sullivan, and this is how I destroyed the woman who tried to steal everything from me. My name is Margaret Sullivan. I'm 76 years old now, living peacefully by Lake Michigan in Evanston. But 3 years ago, I pulled off what the Chicago Police Department called the most brilliant sting operation by a civilian we've ever seen. I faked dementia for 10 months to catch my daughter-in-law stealing millions from me. By the time I was done, she was in prison, my son was free from a toxic marriage, and I'd recovered every penny of my $3.2 million. Let me tell you exactly how I did it. After my husband, Frank, passed from cancer in 2021, I moved in with my younger son, Michael, and his wife, Jennifer, in their Lincoln Park townhouse. I wasn't some helpless widow. I'd worked 45 years as an ICU nurse at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Frank ran a construction company. Between our life insurance accounts, retirement accounts, the sale of our Wicker Park home, and Frank's business assets, I had about $3.2 million. Not bad for two people who started with nothing. Jennifer had been playing the devoted daughter-in-law since marrying Michael in 2018. Morning tea, sweet smiles, endless patience. But I'd spent decades reading people in life and death situations. I knew a performance when I saw one. Jennifer worked as a real estate agent in Gold Coast, always surrounded by wealth she couldn't afford. The hunger in her eyes when she thought nobody was watching, I recognized it. Everything changed in February 2022 when I slipped on ice and broke my ankle. Surgery and 2 weeks at Rush Medical Center. That's when Jennifer made her move. "Don't worry about anything, Mom," she cooed at my bedside. "I'll handle all the bills, the insurance, everything. You just focus on healing." She gathered my checkbook, bank cards, even my password notebook, presenting it as this huge favor. Michael stood there, beaming at his wonderful wife, but I saw the gleam in Jennifer's eyes. In my 40 decades of nursing, I'd seen that look countless times. Family members counting inheritance while patients still breathed. What I didn't know yet was that Jennifer had already searched my room while I was under anesthesia. She'd photographed every bank statement, every investment portfolio, every document. She'd found the safety deposit box key. She'd even discovered my handwritten will splitting everything between my two sons. When I came home in March 2022, the psychological warfare began. Jennifer would casually mention conversations we'd never had. She'd move my glasses, hide my coffee mug, then find them in strange places. Once, she changed my bedroom clock to make me miss a doctor's appointment, then acted deeply concerned about my disorientation. "Mom, maybe we should get you evaluated," Michael suggested one evening. "Jennifer's noticed you've been forgetting things." I looked at my son's worried face, then at Jennifer's perfectly practiced concern. That's when I made my decision. If she wanted to play games, I'd give her the performance of a lifetime. "Evaluated? I don't understand. Everything's fine." I knocked over my water glass, deliberately, though it looked accidental. As Jennifer rushed to clean up, I caught her satisfied smirk. Game on. Over the next weeks, I began my gradual decline. I'd call Jennifer by the wrong name occasionally, ask the same question twice, look confused about recent events. It killed me seeing genuine worry in Michael's eyes, but I needed him to believe it too. His authentic concern would sell my performance. And Jennifer bought it completely. By April, she was withdrawing money freely. Small amounts at first, $500 here, $800 there. Medical expenses, she'd say slowly, like I was a child. "Your physical therapy, remember?" I'd nod vaguely. while documenting everything in a journal hidden inside an old Nancy Drew book, somewhere Jennifer would never look. I also started recording conversations on my phone, which I'd learned to use specifically for this purpose. By May, Jennifer had grown bolder. Thousands at a time. Property tax, Michael's car repair, new roof, always condescending, always with that fake, patient smile. Meanwhile, I was tracking every penny through secret bank alerts my friend Patricia at Chase Bank had helped me set up. The real test came in June when Jennifer discovered several of my CDs were maturing. She sat me down with papers, pointing randomly, talking fast and confusing on purpose. "If we don't move this money now, you'll lose thousands in penalties. Just sign here." I pretended to struggle with the pen, signing shakily, differently each time. Jennifer's eyes lit up with glee. July brought talks of downsizing my assets. "It's too much for you to manage, Mom. Let me help you simplify things." That simple account was a joint account with her name on it. The audacity was breathtaking. By August, Jennifer was stealing faster. She'd taken $800,000 already. That's when she suggested power of attorney to Michael. I was supposedly napping, but listening from the hallway. "Your mom's getting worse. Someone needs to make decisions for her." "She seems okay sometimes," Michael said hesitantly. "That's how dementia works. Good days and bad days. Remember last week when she couldn't remember Frank had passed?" I had to bite my tongue. I'd never forgotten Frank's death. That was another performance that nearly broke me. But Jennifer had stolen nearly $1 million by then. I persevered. September marked a turning point. Jennifer became reckless with greed. Designer bags, jewelry, spa treatments. She even bought a BMW, telling Michael it was for her real estate career. She was literally spending my money in front of me, assuming I was too far gone to notice. One particularly damning recording came in October. Jennifer was on the phone with her sister, not realizing my phone was recording from my purse. "Girl, you wouldn't believe how easy this is. The old bat doesn't even know what day it is. I moved another $200K yesterday, told her it was for home repairs. She just nodded and drooled." I had to excuse myself to the bathroom, not to cry, but to stop myself from strangling her. By November, she'd stolen $1.5 million. Michael was starting to notice oddities. I seemed confused, but also aware. Too aware. He'd find me making comments suggesting I knew exactly what was happening, then immediately retreating into confusion. "Maybe we should get a second opinion on Mom," Michael suggested. Jennifer panicked. "Why? Don't you trust my judgment?" But Michael insisted on a neurology appointment at Northwestern for December. What Jennifer didn't know was that I'd been seeing that same neurologist secretly for months, establishing clear documentation of my complete mental competence. Dr. Sarah Chen had agreed to play along. At the December 15th appointment, I performed perfectly, answering some questions right, others wrong, presenting a mild cognitive decline that concerned but didn't require immediate intervention. "I'd like to see her again in 6 months," Dr. Chen told them. Jennifer was visibly relieved. 6 months to clean out the rest. But I wasn't giving her 6 months. She'd now stolen $2.3 million, and I had mountains of evidence. Time for the finale. The week before Christmas, I made my move. First, I met with Thomas Bradley, a former prosecutor specializing in elder abuse. When I laid out my evidence, recordings, bank records, journal entries, photos, his jaw dropped. "Mrs. Sullivan, this is one of the clearest cases I've ever seen. But why did you let it go so long?" I wanted her to hang herself completely. No wiggle room for sob stories about misunderstandings. I wanted her buried. Next, Detective Maria Rodriguez from the Financial Crimes Unit. She was equally impressed. "Ma'am, you've done our job for us. This is a prosecutor's dream." The hardest part was telling Michael. I took him to our old favorite Italian restaurant in Little Italy. "Michael, honey, I need to tell you something difficult." "Mom, are you okay? Your health?" "My health is perfect. That's what I need to tell you. I don't have dementia. I never did. I've been faking for 10 months. His face went through every emotion possible. "What? Mom, why?" I slid a folder across the table. "Your wife has stolen $2.3 million from me. It's all here." He went white reading the bank statements, seeing Jennifer's signatures, her purchases, then listening to the recordings. The one where she called me an old bat who drooled sent him rushing to the bathroom to be sick. When he returned, his face mixed rage and devastation. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I should have protected you." "She fooled you, sweetheart. But now we handle this. I'm pressing charges tomorrow." "Good," he said firmly. "I want her arrested." The arrest happened December 23rd. I insisted on being there. I was watching TV when the doorbell rang. "Jennifer, can you get that?" I called innocently. She opened the door to Detective Rodriguez and 2 officers. "Jennifer Mitchell, you're under arrest for elder financial abuse, fraud, and brand larceny." Jennifer's face was priceless. "What? This is insane! Margaret has dementia!" That's when I stood up, walked over with perfect clarity, and looked her dead in the eye. "Actually, dear, I know exactly what I'm saying. And I've been recording everything you've been saying for 10 months. The color drained from her face. You were faking? Every single day. Every shuffle, every confused moment, every forgotten name. I played you like a fiddle, and you danced exactly how I wanted." Jennifer lunged at me, screaming, but the officers restrained her. As they dragged her out in handcuffs, the entire neighborhood watching, she kept screaming about entrapment. The legal proceedings were swift. With my evidence, Jennifer's lawyer convinced her to plead guilty. She got 5 to 7 years in state prison and was ordered to pay full restitution. The divorce was finalized quickly. Michael wanted nothing from her. Turns out she'd been having an affair with a wealthy client, using my money to finance it. I recovered every penny of my $2.3 million, though it took months to untangle her manipulations. I also won another $500,000 in a civil suit for emotional distress. The story spread through Chicago like wildfire. I became something of a local legend, the grandmother who out-conned a con artist. Media coverage exploded. When reporters asked why I chose to fake dementia instead of confronting her, my answer was simple. In 45 years of nursing, I learned that when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Jennifer showed me she was a thief and manipulator, so I gave her enough rope to hang herself. 6 months after the arrest, I sold the townhouse, too many bad memories, and bought this beautiful condo in Evanston. Not because I need care, but because I wanted to be around people my age who'd appreciate my story. Michael visits every Sunday. Our relationship, tested by the ordeal, actually grew stronger. He's now remarried to Patricia, a social worker specializing in elder care. The irony isn't lost on anyone. "Mom," he asked one Sunday, "was there ever a moment you almost broke character?" "Once. When Jennifer was laughing on the phone about spending my money, calling me an old bat, I wanted to strangle her with that phone cord. But my father always said, revenge is a dish served cold. So I stayed calm, kept recording, and waited. A year later, I got a letter from prison. Jennifer wrote to apologize. I read it once. She was only sorry she got caught and threw it in the trash. "No forgiveness?" Michael asked. "Forgiveness is for people who make mistakes. What Jennifer did was calculated psychological and financial abuse. She can rot in that cell. I became an advocate for elder rights, speaking at senior centers around Chicago. I tell audiences, the stereotype is that we get weak and confused as we age. That's what predators count on. But we survived this long by being pushovers. One satisfying moment came when I ran into Jennifer's sister at Whole Foods. She tried to scurry away, but I cornered her by the produce. "Your sister stole $2.3 million from me," I said loudly. "She's in prison where she belongs." The woman mumbled about Jennifer being sick, needing help. She was exactly herself, a thief, liar, and predator who targets the elderly. Now everyone knows it. I've written a book, Playing Dead, How I Faked Dementia to Catch a Thief, with proceeds going to elder abuse victims. At the launch, someone asked if I had regrets. Just one. I wish I'd started recording earlier. She probably stole another $100,000 before I began documenting. Would you do it again? In a heartbeat, but better. Hidden cameras, private investigator, maybe even a wire. If someone wants to steal from me, they better be prepared for war. People underestimate the elderly. They think we're weak, confused, easy targets. But we've got decades of experience reading people, surviving hardships, playing the long game. My grandmother lived through the Depression. My mother survived World War II. I survived raising 2 boys in the 1970s Chicago. You think one greedy daughter-in-law is going to take me down? Please. Jennifer never stood a chance. From the moment she targeted me, she was playing a game she couldn't win. She thought she was the predator and I was prey, but I was playing chess while she played checkers. Jennifer gets out in 2027. I'll be 79 then. When asked if I'm worried about revenge, I just laugh. Let her try. I've got cameras, security, a lawyer on speed dial, and a detective who owes me favors. Plus, I've got something Jennifer never had: respect from everyone who knows me. She's got nothing but a criminal record and a reputation as someone who steals from old ladies. The woman who thought she was stealing from a confused old lady ended up in prison, divorced, disgraced, owing millions. Meanwhile, this confused old lady is living her best life by Lake Michigan, teaching other seniors self-protection, enjoying every penny of her fortune. Trust but verify. Love your family, but lock your checkbook. And if someone thinks you're weak because you're old, let them think it, right up until you destroy them. That's how you serve revenge ice cold. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks again.